All right, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about something called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or you'll hear it called RAG. This is a really clever way to fix one of the biggest problems with AI today. Basically, how to make it way more factual and, trustworthy.
But first, let's talk about something I'm sure you've seen. You ask an AI a question, and it gives you this answer that sounds super confident, but it's just plain wrong. So yeah, why does AI sometimes just make stuff up?
Well, this thing actually has a name in the AI world, hallucinations. And they're exactly what they sound like, these confident, totally believable statements that are, well, completely incorrect. And that's a huge problem when you're trying to use these things for tasks where the facts really, really matter.
Okay, so to get the solution, you got to think about AI memory in two different ways. On one hand, you have the brain. This is what researchers call parametric memory. All the knowledge is just baked right into the model from its training. It's super fast, almost intuitive, but it's a pain to update. And yeah, it can misremember things, it can hallucinate. But on the other hand, you have the library. Think of this as an external, searchable database, kind of like all of Wikipedia. It's verifiable, it's factual, it's easy to update, it's a source of truth.
So the billion-dollar question is, what if we could get the best of both worlds? How do we combine that fast, intuitive brain with the rock-solid factual library? Well, that's where this whole idea comes in. Retrieval-Augmented Generation, RAG.
So what is RAG? It's a method that does exactly what it sounds like. It takes one of those powerful pre-trained models, our brain, and gives it a library card. It connects it to an external source of knowledge, our library. The goal here is to get answers that aren't just well-written, but are also factually correct and up-to-date.
The whole system is basically broken down into two main parts, two key players. First, you've got the retriever. This is like the AI's personal, lightning-fast librarian. Its one and only job is to search that entire library and find the documents that are relevant to your question. And then you have the generator. This is the author. It takes your original question, it reads the documents the librarian just handed it, and then it writes the final answer.
Okay, so we've got our librarian and our author. Let's pop the hood and take a look at how this team actually works together, step by step. It's pretty cool.
It all kicks off with a query. You, the user, ask a question. Something that requires real knowledge, something you might have to look up yourself. Like, what are the parts of the middle ear?
So that question immediately goes to our librarian, the retriever. Now, the librarian doesn't even try to answer it. Instead, its job is to search. It scours a massive index of documents. In this case, the source paper used all of Wikipedia to find the most relevant little snippets of information.
The librarian finds the best of the best, the top-ranked, most relevant documents for that specific query. These docs are now the factual source material, the cheat sheet for the next step. This is the grounding that prevents it from just making things up.
And finally, our author, the generator, gets the whole package. It receives your original question and the fact-check documents from the librarian. It then puts it all together, synthesizes everything, to write a final, comprehensive answer that's actually based on real information.
Okay, so the theory is fantastic, right? A librarian and an author working together. But the real question is, does it actually work? Is it really better? Well, the researchers put it through its paces, and the results are pretty striking.
Let's look at the numbers. On a standard test for question answering, a closed book model, that's our brain-only AI, gets a score of 36.6. A purely open book model, just retrieval, does a little better, at 41.5. But then, look at RAG. This hybrid model blows them both away with a score of 44.5. It actually set a new state-of-the-art at the time.
So what does a score like that actually look like? Well, here's a perfect example. Ask a standard model about the Divine Comedy, and it does that classic hallucination thing. It gets Inferno, it gets Purgatorio, and then it just repeats Purgatorio. But RAG? It checks its library and gets it right. The third part is, of course, Paradiso. It's a small difference, but it's the difference between being wrong and being right.
And it's not just about machine scores. It's about what we think, what humans think. When people were asked to judge which model's answers were more factual, the results were overwhelming. As you can see, they said RAG was better almost 43% of the time. The standard model, only about 7%. People can tell the difference, and it's not even close.
So all of this, the better scores, the more factual answers, it all builds to what might be the single biggest, most game-changing advantage of RAG: the ability to keep an AI's knowledge completely up to date.
And the paper says it perfectly.
See, with a normal model, if you want to teach it something new, you have to do this massive, expensive retraining process. But with RAG, because the knowledge is in that external library, you can just swap the library out.
Let me show you how this works. The researchers gave RAG a library from 2016. When they asked it, who is the president of Peru, it gave the correct answer for 2016, and it was right about 70% of the time on these kinds of questions.
Now here's the incredible part. They didn't retrain the model. They didn't do anything to the brain. They just hot-swapped the library. They took out the 2016 Wikipedia and put in the 2018 version.
And bam! Just like that, they asked the same question, and now the model gives the correct answer for 2018, with pretty much the same accuracy. Its entire understanding of world politics was updated instantly, just by giving it a newer set of books to read. How cool is that?
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. RAG makes AI more factual because its answers are grounded in real documents. It helps it be more specific. It dramatically cuts down on those pesky hallucinations. And maybe the most powerful thing of all, you can keep its knowledge base totally current just by changing the library.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating final thought. This tech basically gives AI the power to read and reference any library we hand it. Medical journals, legal code, your company's internal documents, you name it. So the question isn't just about making AI smarter anymore. It's about being good librarians. If an AI can reliably learn from any source we give it, what should we teach it to do